When you hear the word conquest, what pops into your head? Probably clashing armies, right? A victor taking all the spoils. Well, the story of the liberation of Makkah, it's something totally different. It's not really a military case study at all. It's more of a deep, profound lesson in leadership, in principle, and in character. So let's dive into this incredible story. And really, to get to the heart of this event, we have to ask ourselves a pretty big question. How do you truly measure a victory? Is it just about the land you gain? Or is it about the hearts and minds you win over? Is it about getting even, or about finding a way to reconcile? The events of that day, in the 8th year after the migration, they give us a really compelling answer. Okay, so where does this story begin? Well, it doesn't start with a call to arms, which you might expect. Instead, it starts with this incredibly meticulous plan for peace. Think about it. After years of exile, years of conflict, the Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him, is finally returning to his home city. But he's not coming back for revenge. He's coming to build a whole new reality. And that was the absolute core objective. Every single decision, every movement of the army, it was all engineered with one single goal in mind: avoid bloodshed. This wasn't just some clever strategy, It was a powerful statement of intent. The entire campaign was, in essence, a practical lesson on the sanctity of human life. And the strategy itself, honestly, it was ingenious. You've got this army of 10,000, and it's divided up to enter Makkah from 4 different directions, all at the same time. Now, you might be thinking, is this some kind of pincer movement to crush any resistance? But no, not at all. It was actually designed to prevent a fight from ever starting. The whole idea was to show an overwhelming but totally peaceful presence to make the very idea of fighting seem pointless. This is where you really see the proactive mercy of the whole plan. Before a single soldier even stepped into the city, a proclamation of safety went out to everyone. And look at the specific safe zones they announced. One of them was the house of Abu Sufyan, who had been a leader of the opposition for years. Granting safety there was this incredible gesture of honor and reconciliation. It basically turned a potential enemy into someone who could help keep the peace. Okay, so the plan is in motion. And now we come to what is maybe the most critical moment of all, the entry of the leader himself. This is really where the true nature of this victory shines through. I mean, just think about the context for a second. Only 8 years before this, the Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him, had been forced to leave this very city. Now he's coming back, leading a massive army, holding all the power. The stage was perfectly set for one of those triumphant, prideful entries, right? But what actually happened next? Well, it defied every single expectation. The image is just so powerful. Instead of riding in with his head held high, like a conqueror in his moment of triumph, he displayed the ultimate humility. He entered in a state of deep, profound gratitude to God. It was such a clear lesson through action. This wasn't a king marching into a defeated city. This was a servant returning home, and showing that all victory, all honor, it belongs to God alone. And the lesson didn't stop there. Think about who was riding with the Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him. It wasn't some high-ranking noble or a famous general. It was Osama ibn Zayd, the son of a freed slave. With that one single act, the old social hierarchy was just dismantled. It was a powerful visual statement that in this new community, what really matters, what makes a person worthy, is their piety and their character, not their family name or how much money they have. But even the best plans can be tested by raw human emotion. All those years of frustration, all that pent-up anger from the conflict, it all came bubbling to the surface in the words of one of the commanders. And that led to a really pivotal test of leadership. So on one hand, you've got Sa'd ibn Ubadah, who's a loyal commander, just completely overcome by the emotion of the moment. And on the other hand, you see this immediate, decisive correction. The response from the Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him, wasn't just, no, I disagree. He completely reframed the entire meaning of the day. He turned a cry for vengeance into a declaration of honor and sanctity. And how this was handled is it's crucial. A really dangerous idea had to be shut down, but it had to be done without publicly shaming a devoted follower. So by taking the banner from Sa'd and giving it to his son Qais, the Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him, fixed the mistake, he upheld the principle of mercy, and he preserved the family's honor. It was just a masterclass in just and compassionate leadership. So, with the city secured peacefully, the final acts of this conquest just continued to build on that foundation of mercy. The focus wasn't on military strategy anymore. It shifted to purifying hearts, and you could say the very foundations of the community. So, what's the first order of business? It was all about restoring the Kaaba to its original purpose, a house for the worship of one God. The Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him, personally took part in removing all 360 of the idols that had been set up in and around it. And this wasn't just about tearing things down, it was a really deep, symbolic act of cleansing and spiritual restoration. Okay, now here's something you need to know. For centuries, the honor of holding the keys to the Kaaba, which was a huge position of prestige, it belonged to one specific family. At this time, the keeper was a man named Uthman ibn Talha, who wasn't even a Muslim yet. Now, by any normal rule of conquest, those keys would be taken and given to a loyal ally of the victor. That's just how it worked. But then, in a move that was just stunning, that defied all convention, Uthman was called forward, and the keys were given right back to him. And listen to the words of the Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him. They redefined the day all over again. He didn't say today is a day of victory. He said it was a day of piety, faithfulness, and loyalty. A trust that existed long before he arrived was honored and upheld. What a lesson, right? That true justice is about preserving people's rights, not seizing them. And this whole spirit of justice, it all led to the final defining act, a general amnesty. I mean, just try to picture the scene. The people of Mecca are all gathered. These are the people who had persecuted the Muslims, fought them, driven them from their homes for 20 years. They're expecting judgment, right? They're expecting the worst. And instead, they're met with a universal pardon for everyone. So when you look back on it all, what was really conquered that day? It wasn't a city, it was hearts. And what secured the victory? It wasn't the sword, it was character. This whole event was just a powerful, practical demonstration of how you build a lasting peace, one founded on mercy, humility, and unshakable justice. And that really leaves all of us with a timeless question, doesn't it? When a conflict finally ends, when power shifts, what do we choose to build with? Do we build on a foundation of revenge and getting even? Or do we choose the much more enduring foundation of forgiveness and reconciliation? The liberation of Makkah, it offers one incredibly powerful answer from history.